I've spent 365 days running my small crochet business, losing sleep, and wasting hundreds of dollars. Now it's time for you to learn from my mistakes. I'm going to give you the 3 brutal truths that I learned that literally saved my business from failing, and also about one of the biggest financial mistakes that almost cost me everything. Let's get into it. Lesson number 1, you need to do it scared. I fully understand. You want to plan, you want to prep, you want to just spend all this time because you think that just planning everything perfectly for every scenario is going to somehow fix what you lack in experience, and that's not true. I wasted all my college years planning my YouTube channel, planning what I was going to do at art markets, planning what kind of creative business I was going to have, and I didn't do anything until I signed up for an art market and had no choice. I gave myself a month to figure it out before my first art market, and I made $500 at my first art market. You are never going to feel ready. You're going to feel anxious. You're going to feel like you want to have, sorry for TMI, anxiety, diarrhea. You're going to have all these problems, but you are going to feel so much better when you're actually playing the game instead of just sitting on the sidelines watching people just achieve your dreams. Pick up the crochet hook, post the video you made, start that social media account, get your LLC, and start living what you've been planning this whole time. Do it scared. You're going to work so much better under pressure. Lesson number 2 is the exact mistake that almost left my business going bankrupt within the first 6 months. Art markets. I want you to go to your local art markets. I want you to go experience what products you have that sell well. I want you to go figure out how to set up your booth. I want you to go figure out, meet some art market friends and meet other creatives in your space locally around you, because that'll be a wonderful community for you to have. But you will go broke if you only do those local art markets. I spent so much time prepping for the art markets, packing up all my stuff, driving 30 minutes away, spending money on a booth, and then there was just no one there. And I spent entire Saturdays in the heat, because I'm in Florida, dying. There was even one I did where I literally set up, there was no one there. I luckily did make a $10 sale. So I made $10, and then it downpoured on us, and my inventory got ruined because it got rained on and mud splattered all over it. When you feel ready to make real income, I want you to jump into doing those conventions and pop culture cons. I know the booth fee is terrifying because you're going from paying $50 to hundreds of dollars for doing these giant conventions, but you are guaranteed, if it's well advertised and there's a decent amount of people coming and it's a relatively popular convention, you are guaranteed that people are going to be there, and you won't just be sitting out in the heat with no one there. If your plushie sold at your local art market, they're going to explode at a Comic-Con because people love plushies. And also for crochet businesses, there aren't that many crochet artists that are selling at these cons, at least not from what I've seen. It's mainly people selling their artwork, which is wonderful. But you are going to stand out because you're selling cute plushies that people can love and squeeze, and people will love that. And most artists are even just selling their prints and stickers there are making $1,000 to $2,000 in a single weekend. So stop spending your time hauling yourself to all these little markets where your inventory is getting touched, where you're wasting time setting up, where you're overheating, and just sign up for a single convention that will blow it out of the water. The buyers are actually there and will appreciate and want your product the most. Lesson number 3 is a time management illusion. In the fiber arts world, your time is money, and so many people will completely disagree with that. But I'm gonna tell you, if you're crocheting a plushie and it takes you 5 hours to make, and you only sell it for $30, you are paying yourself below the minimum wage. You're gonna have to learn how to balance high effort pieces with the lower cost pieces that you're going to possibly sell more of. Don't chip yourself. Don't settle and sell your pieces for less than what they deserve. Focus on what sells. Focus on what you can make quickly that does well, and focus on what takes a little bit longer and also sells well, okay? But we spent a lot of time talking about physical plushies. Let's talk about the absolute turning point in my career. I don't have a business strategy that does well. I just made a giant goose, okay? Plot twist, I didn't come across a wonderful marketing strategy. I just made a giant goose. Back in December, I was feeling burnt out. I was tired of markets. I wasn't doing well at all. And I just decided, you know what? I want to do something fun with crochet. You know what would be fun? Temperature blankets. You know what's not fun? Temperature blankets, because that's huge and takes forever. I make plushies, so I decided I was going to make a temperature goose. I crocheted this giant goose, and now every week I post a video of me doing a round in his body that corresponds to a week in 2026, and I do the temperature for that week. Here's the process so far. We are in May. This is his butt. It's wonderful. I made this goose purely for myself, and it is my top performing video. And when I published the pattern for this goose, it has made almost $1,000. Just the pattern. Just the pattern of this giant goose. Sometimes the things you make just for the joy of making it is what saves your business. Year 2 is going to look different. I'm actually trying to make 25 brand new chunky friends before the end of 2026, and I want you guys to help me pick the next one. Go ahead and drop a comment. Should my next chunky friend be a chunky capybara or a chunky axolotl? Go ahead, give me your vote. I'm going to read all the comments and tally up the winner.